Today, I'm gonna run a 5K. What the heck am I thinking?
Hey there, welcome to Fathers for All. On this channel, we talk about faith, freedom, and fatherhood, and I am so excited to share with you my recent accomplishment, and that was I ran my first 5K at the lofty age of 43 years old.
It's a beautiful day here on this Saturday morning. It's almost 7 a.m. and the registration is happening here at Hartville Marketplace for the GLO 5K. This is my first 5K, and I haven't trained very much. But the last time I ran, I almost got to 5K, so we'll see how I do. It's a run walk, so as long as I scrape my fat rear end over the finish line, I'll have done a 5K. I don't know if I'll run the whole thing, but I'm planning on it. Wish me luck.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of crazy. What was I thinking and what led me to this, right? So I had a friend of mine that a group of us have been getting together working out on Wednesday nights. And he had mentioned something about a 5K coming up in a couple of weeks. And, at the time I was like, okay, whatever, But then I kind of realized, well, I need to start getting in shape. I need to start improving my health. I was kind of working out with them like once a week and then trying to work out in between, which quite honestly wasn't happening as much as I wanted to. And I thought, well, this goal of running a 5K could help me get in shape and improve my endurance. So what the heck? So we're working on a project that's coming up on Halloween this year that involves us being somewhat physically fit. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to shed the pounds and pull off the look I want to do, but this journey of doing a 5K and running on a regular basis has helped me in that process. So I wanted to share some tips or maybe some life lessons that I picked up when running my first 5K. And I'm hoping that this might help you as well. Of course, when you plan on doing a 5K, you don't just decide one day to sign up and then walk onto the course. Unless you've been running and you know what you're gonna do, you have to plan a little bit ahead of time. So first tip or lesson was to set a goal. My goal was, maybe I'll run a 5K one day, or maybe I'll run a 5K in 2 months. I don't know, maybe we'll think about it. And the second that led to that was to have a plan. And so if you have a goal and you have a place of what you want to do, for me, I want to post 52 quality videos to this channel this year, and I'm on track to do that. The second is to have a plan. And that pretty much led to us saying, hey, running friend, how do I do this? And we actually reached out to a friend of ours that had done a lot of running. He's an avid runner, and he sent us a simple Excel form that just showed us, like, on this day, over the next 2 months, on these days, you should be running a certain amount of time, and then gradually improving your time on as you get closer and closer to a 5K. So much so that before you run the 5K, you've at least run 30 minutes continuously. And that really helped us out. I kind of slacked on my plan a little bit, but when I ran the 5K, I was able to run the entire race in 32:01, which was pretty good for my first 5K ever. And I was averaging about a 10-minute mile. So I was pretty pleased with that, especially being at my age of 43 years old. So the next thing that I would recommend, and this goes for not only just running, but also for just any type of major activity, is number 3, friend it in. I heard you ran today, I better run too. Or, hey, let's get together and run together. Or, hey, I really appreciate you encouraging me. I'm going to do that too. Or, hey, I ran, come on, jump along with me. Let's keep this up. Having a friend or someone to encourage you along the way is huge. It kind of helped me set my pace. Like, oh man, he ran. I got to run today. I got to schedule that in. Number 4, I had to stay consistent. I had to keep it. You keep it your training, and you will be there in no time. Essentially, the first couple of runs, it was like very hot and muggy, even in the morning. And I was only running 10 minutes, and I felt like my chest was going to explode. And it was pretty rough. But then as I remained consistent and did it on a regular basis, my body began to become stronger and have more endurance, which was huge. And it allowed me to go a little longer and a little longer and a little longer. Before I knew it, I was getting into the 20 and high 20 minutes and almost getting to that 3-mile mark. And then the day of the 5K, we did it, and I didn't have to walk. Well, maybe I speed walked just a little bit, but I kept up with my buddy. So it was fun. The number 5 tip was to break it up. And this is essentially, you run for minutes, but not necessarily distance. And by doing this, it helped us continuously get an endurance rate of running for a set amount of time. To whereas some people might run, and once they get to a certain distance, they would stop, regardless of how quickly it took them to get there. So, and then we can also, by breaking it up into smaller training segments by little pieces at a time, chipping away at that, it helped me grow. And I've known this, these last 2 tips, stay consistent and breaking it up, those things apply to YouTube as well, and to doing just all kinds of different things. I mean, with YouTube, if you stay consistent, people will see you on a regular basis, and they will know that they can check in with you on a regular basis and expect your content. Plus, the algorithm then favors you and favors your content, and you continue to push forward. And then also breaking it up. Sometimes you can't do everything at once. Sometimes you got to break it up and do a little bit at a time. And for this, it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to run for 30 minutes on my first run. I'm going to run 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 12 minutes here. Okay, now I'm going to run for 15 minutes, and it improves down the road. So for me, this was a huge help. Number 6 is to push yourself. This one, it's hard, and you'll have to run during times that you don't want to run. You're going to have to wake up before everyone else so that you can get in your run, because your day is going to be hard, or your day is going to be long and cluttered and filled with all kinds of things. So you're going to have to wake up an extra 30 minutes before you want to, or you normally do, and push yourself to do something that maybe you don't want to do at that time. For content creation, sometimes you got to push yourself to create content and to schedule content and to write down all kinds of wonderful content, maybe at times when you don't feel like it. So, it's hard. That was the other thing. When I was running, there was a lot of times where I just wanted to give up, and I was tired and I was exhausted, and I would take it. But the cool thing is, with running, you are your own pace setter. I mean, and especially when you're training. Now, obviously, when you're running with a 5K, yeah, you might want to try to beat someone's time, but at the end, you are setting your own pace, and you can do that on YouTube as well, and with other channels and other things in your life. You can push yourself, but when it's hard, you are setting your own pace, and you are sometimes your biggest obstacle or your biggest deterrent to achieving your goal. So when I was running and it was super hard, there were times where my body and I was saying, you know what, this is too much. I need to take a break. So I did. I walked for the first couple of times I was running. So I would run, and then I'd walk for a few minutes. My heart rate would come down a little bit. I'd catch my breath a little, and then I'd get back to running. I would push my body to say, okay, you've ran, I've given you a rest, and now we're going to run again, and we're going to keep it up until we can do this consistently for, at first it was just running for 10 minutes straight. then it was, longer. So now it's funny, I put this number 7 in, and it's called stretch. And it says you're not getting any younger. And a friend of mine, after I ran the 5K, said, you shouldn't stretch before you run. But for me, there was a couple of times where I stretched and I kind of got myself a little loose, and it felt like I had a better run that day. So anytime you're doing a physical activity, especially as you get older, you want to give yourself a little bit more time to warm up. So maybe instead of stretch, this should be warm up, and don't go into it super cold, because that can actually help you improve your performance. When it comes to content creation or something like that, this same thing applies. Warm yourself up, get in front of the camera for a little bit before you want to deliver your content, and say a couple of lines of what you want to say, or read your script out loud. Do it a couple of times and make the mistakes. You're warming yourself up. It's okay if you have a bunch of flubs and ums and uhs and you screw up here and there. Warm yourself up, and as you continue to do this, you'll be able to deliver smooth content, and the more you do it, the better you'll be able to perform in the long run. And then number 8, know that this takes time. Running a 5K takes time. Training takes time, so you need to give it the time it deserves. For me, it was like, I can't wake up at 6:30 in the morning and expect to go running, because I need to get myself ready, and I need to help my wife get the kids ready so that we can run off to school and work. So I needed to give it the time it deserved, which means if I wanted to run in the morning, whether it be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I would need to give myself an extra 5 on top of that, so that I could get myself prepared, out of bed and prepared, warmed up a little bit, and then hit the road running. And this is also something with YouTube. You need to give it the time it deserves. You need to give yourself the time for SEO, and give yourself the time to create thumbnails, and give yourself the time to set up your studio, and the time to edit. And it all takes a time commitment. And then when it comes to channel growth or anything like that, you need to give yourself the time it deserves, in the sense that some channels are going to grow faster than others. Some content channels are going to, skyrocket really fast. And sometimes the more time and prep before publishing the video that goes into the video, the better the channel performs. So there you go. Give it the time it deserves. It's going to take time. I also found out in number 9, 5Ks cost money. So register early. And I didn't realize this, but the closer you are to the deadline of the 5K, the more expensive it gets. And I dragged my feet on, should I run a 5K? I don't know why, but I was kind of hem-hawing about it. I was really wishy-washy. And I finally said, you know what, I'm going to do it. But it was like the week of the 5K that I registered, and for me it was like $35. But if I had registered a week or a couple weeks earlier, it could have been 30, or it could have been cheaper. So, if you want to run a 5K and there's one coming up that you want to participate in, think about that and register early and set aside the money for it. Same thing goes with doing a channel. Sometimes there's things that cost money. It can be pretty low expense to get started and to get going, but at some point you're going to have to invest in yourself and in your channel. Number 10, the journey is the destination. And that is something that's really been something I've been seeing the entire time. Running the 5K during the day of was pretty exciting, and it was pretty cool. But the journey of training in the morning and getting myself stronger, man, there were some cool times. There were some times where I was running in the morning, and where I run down this trail and I run past a ball field, and a couple mornings when I was running, I would run past like 5 or 6 deer just grazing in the ball field. Or one time I was running and there was a deer sitting right along the trail, and it was just kind of cool to be out there way early before anyone else is, and to be running and improving myself, but also there's something about enjoying that journey and enjoying that process. And I keep reminding myself, got to stick with it. I got to keep at it when it comes to running and also my channel, because as I do more with my channel and as I try to continue to grow that, I'm learning more and more each time, and it's becoming something that, I'm enjoying this journey, this process. And but I also have to remind myself, enjoy it as well. So the next and final tip, this would be probably number 11. This is the bonus, I guess, is the reward in finishing is worth the work. And so what does that mean? The reward in finishing is worth the work or worth the effort. You know, there's a lot of work that was put into this 5K and growing it and in training for it and actually running that. But when I finished, to have my family there, to have my friend there with me, to kind of have other people cheering me on during this process, it was worth the reward at the end paid off. The reward to say, you know, I accomplished this. I did something that, for me, it made a big difference. And that was worth all the work that I put into it. So with that, I encourage you, if you have the means and the capability to run a 5K, do it. But don't do it cold. You can, there's all kinds of programs from Couch to 5K to other programs out there that can help you get off your derriere and get out there and run and do the do a 5K. And even if you have to walk for a portion of it, you know what, in the end, it's about finishing the race. It's not about being the fastest. For some it is. For some it is. You want to get out there and you want to win that award. And so you're going to push yourself really hard to achieve that. But for me, it was about running a 5K, period. Whether I made it in 30 minutes or whether I made it in 40, I wanted to complete a 5K, and I did. And I did it in a time that I didn't expect I could do it in. So to me, that was worth all the reward. I hope this content has brought value to your life. I hope that you found something in this that you can make your own. And if you did, would you consider subscribing to the channel so you can get notified when we drop more videos? And would you also hit that like button? Thanks so much for watching. And until then, may the Father for all bless you and keep you on your journey in this life. Thanks a lot. Love you guys.